with the 12, whether the value went up, the equity, which is really a fake thing. See, he didn't tell me that he had put it on the market and was trying to sell it and all this stuff. He didn't want me to know that, but I knew that. So I knew that he was trying to sell it before and he couldn't. The equity, which is really a fake thing, whether the value went up on the house from when he bought it, that creates equity. So if I bought it for $50,000, now the market says it's worth $60,000, that's $10,000 in equity right there, right? The difference in that. Or you got that mortgage, right? And you've lived there for 15 years. So you've been paying every month and you're paying down the principal on that loan that you got. And that builds equity over time. So now, you know, the house is worth $100,000 and you bought it for $100,000, but you've lived there for the 15 years. So you paid down approximately $30,000 on that loan that you took out. So that would be $30,000 in equity.
So how did you come up
with the 12?
Yeah, like I understand that's the equity. Is that your job to figure that out, or is that him coming to you telling them?
That's part of negotiating. You know what I'm saying? Anything is worth what a person will pay for it. You know what I mean? So I knew his situation. See, this is why when we go through how we find our prospects, because that gives us leverage in our negotiating. So I knew his situation. See, he didn't tell me that he had put it on the market and was trying to sell it and all this stuff. He didn't want me to know that, but I knew that. So I knew that he was trying to sell it before and he couldn't.
Right, so you kind of like, not necessarily, but kind of brought that up to him.
I didn't bring it up to him. I just knew that that was an issue. So I knew that gave me a little bit of leverage. I didn't say, hey, I know that you tried to sell it, right? But I know this in my mind. So I tell him what I can do. And that's how I was able to take over the payments too. I told him the same thing, man, that I told you guys to say. You know, we're just gonna continue to make the payments on it. Ideally, we like to find a buyer, but until then, we're just gonna continue to make the payment. On this one, I told him, I was like, man, this thing, you know, I said it's good foundationally, but it just needs a lot of updating. So I can't sell it as is. You know, this is what I'm telling him. I can't sell it as is. So I'm gonna do what I do and I'm gonna have somebody fix it up, but I don't do fix and flips. I had already told him that. I don't fix houses up. So he was cool with it, but we established rapport, you know, and we build trust. See, this is what you're gonna learn today too with the negotiating. A person has their pain point, man. We have got to figure out what that pain point is because it's not always about money. So we figure out what that pain is and we bring that pain to the surface, but then we gotta figure out what the pleasure is. What do they want? What do they want to end up with? What is their goal, right? When we know those things, we then become the architect in between that gets them from their pain to their pleasure. But by becoming that architect, it engenders trust, and then it shows them that we're capable and competent. So man, he trusts me to this day, you know, and I just made his house payment. I get my payments on the 28th of every month, and then I pay the mortgage payments on the debt of my houses. I pay that on the 1st.
So how'd you come up with, basically, you say you get 300 passive income on that property,
so
you pay the mortgage with the
There's two ways that you can do it, all right? You can either, the interest that's on the mortgage, you just make the interest higher for your buyer. So they're buying it on contract with no credit checks or anything like that. So naturally, you're gonna pay a higher interest than you would, you know, with this 30-year loan at a bank, because you're not getting any credit checks. You know, you're putting down this down payment. So instead of the interest rate being 3.5%, we're gonna make it 5.5%. And normally on a contract, it's 10%, 8%. And that is terrible. I don't charge more than 7%. So you can do it that way, or you can just add the fee on there. So you know the mortgage payment is this much a month. So in your contract, you're mirroring the mortgage, and then you add a monthly fee, you know, and you can call that whatever you want to, really. That monthly fee of a loan fee, you know, loan origination. Banks do it.
Seems like you got a lot of leeway when you ain't got credit checks.
Man, all the leeway in the world, and it feels great. Like, I'm telling you, I don't go into banks and apply for credit, man. I just go in there and cash these fat checks.